This is not too old when in 2006, a young man was found in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv in a very confused state. He was wearing old-fashioned clothes and an old camera was hanging over his neck. People thought he was crazy, but what did they know that he was going to be part of a time travel story? Welcome back to Arrows Media. Viewers, that person was telling his name to Sergei Ponomarenko. When the police asked for his ID, he issued it to a country that is no longer present. Yes, this ID was of the Soviet Union. Now you all know that Ukraine used to be a part of the Soviet Union. And the day this incident occurred, 2 decades had passed since the Soviet Union was broken. It's not like the Ukrainian police had never seen an ID of the Soviet Union before. But this man looked 20 to 25 years old, and his date of birth was showing on that ID as 1932. Not only the date of birth, but also the picture of the ID was his. The police did not digest this whole thing. How can a man born in 1932 in 2006 be 20 to 25 years old even after 74 years? He asked Sergey what date it is today, and she answered, the 23rd of April 1958. This was the point when the police thought that this man was definitely crazy. He was taken to a mental hospital where Dr. Pablo Kudrikov examined his mental health. Sergey was also confused about what was happening to him. The doctor asked him if he remembers how he came straight from 1958 to 2006. He said that he went out on a city walk to take good photographs during the day. That's when he saw something flying in the sky. The doctor asked how it looked like. I explained that I was not able to explain, but I took a picture of him in my camera. Saying this, he moved his camera forward. The doctor was shocked, but his shock increased when he saw the camera, which was a very old Yashica Flex camera. Looking at the condition of this camera, it did not seem like it was an old camera. The problem was to take a photo from this camera because the roll that was given in this camera was discontinued in the 1970s. Was manufactured in 1956. He developed photographs and things got more confused. In the photographs, there were old pictures of the city, cars, buildings, and street signs were all from the 1950s. There were some buildings which were later demolished, and in front of those buildings were some pictures of Sergey and her girlfriend. This was the same Sergey who was sitting in the same clothes as he was in the 48 years old photos. And in the last photo of the roll, as Sergey had told, an unidentified flying object was visible. It was very difficult to believe for the doctor after seeing this whole incident. Until then, the doctor had no option but to believe that this person had traveled from 1958 to 2006 in time. The doctor was in such a state that he left the room, closed the door, and never returned. Sergei Ponomarenko had disappeared without any evidence. If he left something behind, it was this camera, some photographs, and his strange pour. The more we tried to understand the story, the more confusing it was. When the police investigated the case, it was revealed that in 1960, a man named Sergei Ponomarenko had disappeared from Kiev. The girl in the photographs was also tracked, who is now a 70-year-old woman. He told the police that Sergey had disappeared in 1958 but came back in a few days. He disappeared for as long as he was a representative in 2006. But according to that woman, he disappeared again in the 1960s and never returned after that. But there is another twist in the story. Years later, he received a photo of Sergey in which the note was written 2050. Sergey's age is more, and in the background, Kiev City is visible. The only difference is that Kiev City is full of skyscraper. He also noted that he will come back soon, but this could not happen for some reason. This interesting story of Sergei Ponomarenko was shown on a Ukrainian TV show, and it went viral on the internet. But the question is this story really true? Whether time travel is really possible or not? There is no doubt that we are all traveling time in a way. Time travel in the future. Our 1 hour spent anywhere shows that we are going towards the future by doing 1 hour each. But if someone spends 1 hour in any way in just half an hour, then in comparison to others, he will spend half an hour in the future. Albert Einstein first introduced this concept in his theory of special relativity, according to which time does not pass in space as one rather. It depends on the speed of the object and its mass. Just as the level of oxygen changes at different altitudes, similarly time also depends on the speed of the object and its mass. If we live on Earth, our time depends on the mass of the Earth and its speed. If we go to Jupiter, which has a lot of mass, then time will pass slowly. According to theory, the more speed there is, the slower time will pass. So if we are in a spaceship that runs at the speed of light for 5 years in the universe and then comes back to Earth, then according to our time only 5 years have passed. But 36 years have passed on Earth. The time difference noted in both clocks is called time dilation. To prove this theory of Einstein, in 1971, the Heffel-Keting experiment was also done. In this, 12 atomic clocks were set at the same time. 4 clocks were loaded in the plane and sent to the east, 4 to the west, and the last 4 to the Earth. When both the ships came back after circling the Earth, The difference between the two clocks was very big. The clocks of the ships that were heading east were 59 nanoseconds slower than the clocks on the ground. That means that time was slow for them, and the clocks of the ships that were heading west were 273 nanoseconds ahead. The difference between east and west came because our Earth is rotating in an anti-clockwise direction. The second way of future time travel is gravity. According to Einstein's general relativity, the more gravity there is, the slower time will pass. This theory was also proven in 2010 with the help of an experiment. One atomic clock was placed at the lowest point of the shelf and the other at 33 centimeters above the shelf. The clock that was closer to the ground had more gravity, so it was moving slowly according to the upper clock. This difference was very less because 33 centimeters is not that far. Gravity is very high, like in black hole. Our time will pass very slowly as per the time passing on Earth. This is also shown in the Interstellar movie where those people are on a planet that is close to the black hole. The 1 hour spent there is equal to 7 years of Earth. Due to speed and gravity, the change in time is so common that GPS satellites, which have the most accurate clocks in the world, have to match them again and again according to the Earth's time. Because these satellites are orbiting the Earth at an average speed of 11,300 kilometers per hour. This is why their clocks are behind. If their time is not set again and again, our phones cannot tell us our exact location. We discussed this in the future time travel. This is theoretically possible, but according to science, it is impossible to do it practically, because it is impossible to make such a spacecraft that can run at the speed of light for us. We will have to go to the nearest black hole to travel time through gravity, which is almost 1,560 light years away, to solve the mystery of time travel. But how true is the story of Sergei Ponomarenko? Actually, this story was broadcasted in a TV show in Ukraine in 2012. The name of which was Aliens. This story was shown in the third episode of this reality show, Time Traveler. A big loophole was revealed in the CCTV video with Sergei Ponomarenko's doctor. The date shown in this video is, but if you look at the calendar, it is Sunday. This means that the video was recorded separately and the timestamp was added later. Apart from this, the ID of Sergei Ponomarenko, which can be seen on the stamp, experts believe that this stamp is different from the stamp of that era. And finally, the photo of the city of Kiev in 2050, in which many buildings are visible. But if you look closely, then many buildings are the same, which means that this image is photoshopped. According to this, the police investigation recorded is not available anywhere. And if Dr. Pablo Katrigov is such a famous doctor, then why is his name not on any website of the internet? This story was very well planned, but internet users believe that it was made for show ratings. Only time travel topics create confusion when we think that if time travel can be done in the future, then it can be done in the past. This concept has also been shown in many science fiction movies, but the scientific community believes that this is not possible because it gives birth to a paradox. Suppose you go to a time machine and go back 10 years in the past and stop that time machine from being made, then how did you get here? This situation is called a time travel paradox. In 2009, Stephen Hawking arranged a party in which he was alone. The strange thing about this party was that he made the invitation public after a year and said that if someone is a time traveler, he can attend the party in the past. This was a way to explain that time travel is not possible in the past. I hope you have understood the topic of time travel in this video. Thank you for your lovely comments. See you in the next video.